What up YouTube? I got another video for you today. It's on another Schrade. This model is the SCH104L. See if we can get that to focus in there. Let's take a look at her. Alright. This guy's 8.6 inches long there. The blade length is 3.7 inches. They're using 9CR18 MOV. It's got titanium coating on the blade. They also extend that coating onto the Framelock side there. Framelock has over travel stop there, which is a nice touch. Satin pocket clip, or actually, yeah, it's a satin pocket clip to match the hardware all the way around. One cool thing I noticed is the hardware is kind of oversized, and it kind of really fits with the beefiness and the beefy feel of this knife there. It's going to be tip up right hand carry only on that. Lockup, really nice, really sturdy. Centering is a little bit off to the right. It came perfectly centered to me, but the action or the deployment on it was really stiff, so I loosened it up on the pivot. It's got that funky pivot that's really common with the Enlon. And there's a reason behind it, because this is an exact copy of the Enlon EL08. The exact same thing minus the Schrade logo right there. So it seems like Schrade's getting a lot of different people to manufacture their knives overseas, and Enlon seems to be one of the ones they've chosen. Which is not a bad thing, because Enlon's really known for their quality. Although they kind of lacked on quality on this one that I got. This particular knife I've got. With the action being so stiff. The ergonomics on this knife are decent. There is there's two things I have an issue with. There is a little bit of a hot spot right here with the jimping on the Framelock section to depress and unlock the knife. And another thing I noticed is that the milling that they did on this, on the G10, it's raised right here to kind of aid. It's like a nice added touch as far as your purchase goes, where your pointer finger wants to roll right in here and stay in place. But this being raised right here causes a little bit of an issue and kind of fights you when you go to deploy the knife, because it raises your thumb kind of vertically like that in order to deploy it, and what ends up tearing up is this little soft part of your thumb. So wish that would have been milled down a little bit, or the thumb stud maybe positioned a hair forward so you can get to it easier. But besides that, everything else seems to be really cool with this knife. Like I said, it is an exact copy of the EL08. The weight on this knife, it's pretty darn heavy for its size. You're looking at 6.5 ounces. But it's a large knife. It feels really heavy duty in your hand, and it's, you know, you can find them for 25 bucks. So it's a really good option, or something definitely to consider if you're trying to find a good work knife where you're going to have good solid construction. You know, the ergonomics are going to be just fine for you, and if anything happens to this or whatever, you're not really in the hole for too much at coming in at $25. So it's not a bad option whatsoever. And of course, I'm like 99.9% sure Enlon manufactures these for Schrade, and they have excellent quality in their knives. So the only bummer on this is that if you do need to adjust the pivot, you either got to cut this the pivot right here with the Dremel to put a flathead slot on it, or a little trick I found out is, here, let me show you this real quick. This right here can be found in a lot of your little bit sets that you find at your local home improvement store. It's kind of a security bit set, and I found that this actually works pretty good for adjusting that pivot. It's not the exact tool, and you do have to be a little careful when you go to use it or whatever, but it does work. You could tape it up to protect, you know, scratching on the blade, but if you go ahead and lay it in there because of that shape and put pressure down, you can adjust the pivot if it's not Loctited like crazy. This one, that's how I was able to adjust that. So instead of having to search high and low for the Enlon pivot screw or Dremel it out, you can always go with that option, because a lot of times, you know, like me, I own a bunch of those little bit sets, and that just seems to be the one funky bit I never found a use for until now. So there you go, guys. Enlon Shrade SCH104L. You can get them at BladeHQ. That's where I found this one. So there you go, guys. If you have any comments or any questions or anything, post them below. Appreciate the support as usual. You guys take care. Peace.